it creates a bridge between the Beatles and Your Bird Can Sing and Iron Maiden. Good morning, afternoon, and or evening. My name is Derek, aka Professor Silly, and welcome to my journey through the history of heavy metal albums. What is heavy metal? Well, it doesn't really matter for us to define it. Different people are going to define it in different ways. What I'm doing here is I'm listening to any album that is considered by either critics or by fans to be important to the history of heavy metal music. Who am I, and why does my opinion matter? I'm just a Gen X musician that played some heavy metal in my past and wanted to experience some of the albums that I never got around to experiencing in the first place. So here we are. Bottom line, my opinion doesn't matter at all. Now, in order to keep this channel going and keep these videos up, I do need to consider copyright law and keep things fair use. For that reason, I will be talking over the music. That is what makes these videos okay to be on YouTube. I will put a link to the original album in my description, so if you want to go check out the album without me yammering over it, you should definitely do that. Finally, I don't think I should rate anything based on a single listen, so I listened to this album a week ago, and then I listened to it all week. I'm going to show you my initial reaction to the first time I listened to it, and then I'll come back and give you my final thoughts. Continuing 1977 with Thin Lizzy, Bad Reputation. I looked at this track listing of this album. None of the tracks look familiar. I don't think I've heard any of the songs in this album before. This is a brand new listen, which has been most of 1977, honestly. Granted, 1977, I was 4. Getting ready to turn 5 in December of 77. So I was 4 when this album came out. This is not what my parents were into. This was not what my sister was into. Even if they were, I wouldn't remember. I was 4. So yeah, I don't think I've heard any of this album. But the first track appears to be named Soldier of Fortune. So let's get straight to it.
A soldier of fortune came home from war and wondered what he was fighting for. This sad-eyed soldier, he broke down and cried. Oh, he was so broke up inside. When will it end? When will it end?
I mean, I get it. Kinda.
The bells toll for those about to die.
This is what I come to Thin Lizzy for, is that dual guitar. So yay for that.
Soldier of fortune, he will carry on. He will carry on when all hope is gone. He will carry on. He's trained to kill, and kill he will as we march along. Singing just another soldier song, just another soldier song.
Okay, so I don't do any research before I listen to albums. So I know nothing about this. like the guitars. Can do a little bit of military drumming. I know Alice Cooper did something similar at some point, if only because I've heard the Melvins cover it. I'd imagine that was earlier than this, but I don't know that for sure. Okay. Right. Well, I didn't love that. All right. So I've only ever heard one other Thin Lizzy album, Johnny the Fox, and I haven't done a short review of that yet. Although I listened to it, and I made really good notes. So that's the only thing I can compare this to so far. Now, I heard a lot of people in comments mentioned, oh, that's not their heaviest album. These are the albums you should be listening to, and this is one of the ones that was suggested as a result. So they're supposed to this be heavier. I didn't love Johnny the Fox. There were moments on it I was into, but overall, I just found it really mopey and depressed. And I guess he was like in the hospital during the writing of most of it, the bass player singer. So that's understandable. I found his approach to lyricism and songwriting to be... I can't put my finger on what it is that annoys me about it. Because, like, you think of like hard rock versus like what's going to become metal. And hard rock is a lot of fast cars, fast women, a Highway Star. Highway Star personifies hard rock, I think. It's all about getting the chick. Kiss is another good example. It's all about just getting the chick and being a rebel in that regards. We start talking about like the ramifications of war and stuff like that. Well, that's more metal. You think of like Metallica. Like I think every Metallica album that I'm familiar with, which is the first ones, all have themes of war and death and things like that. They're heavier issues to be exploring. So you would think that a song about a soldier of fortune might be more metal. Yet something about it, it's just, I don't know. There's something about his approach that just doesn't quite land with me. The guitars are the best part about it. to me. I think that's part of why Thin Lizzy's being included in this, is because by the time we get to Iron Maiden, we've heard a little bit of guitar duet type stuff with Judas Priest. Iron Maiden's going to take that and run with it. But arguably, it comes more so from here. Even maybe more so than Judas Priest, because Priest will often have the one riffing with the other soloing, and then they'll trade off, which is awesome. But here we're getting like dual guitar harmonized leads, which we're going to hear with Maiden. So I understand its influence. It's not especially heavy, though, so I don't know. Let's move on. Bad Reputation, the title track. I already like this better. This sounds sort of familiar. Okay, I'm digging on this a lot more. There's that guitar thing. A lot shorter, isn't it? Yeah. More to the point. '70s fade out. All right. I think what I liked more about that is the mix. The vocals were mixed a little bit down, which let the instrumentation really like take more of the center stage. I don't like the vocals being right out super in front. It makes it seem singer-songwriter-y to me. Like that one. That was short and to the point. Granted, it's about a naughty woman. Whatever that is. I'm not sure what the Bad Reputation's all about. I mean, there's the normal view of the Bad Reputation, then there's like what I would consider a bad reputation, which are two very different things. Opium Trail. Uh-oh. I don't like the sound of that. All right. Let's see what this one's about. Okay.
I took a line that leads you to the Opium Trail. Oriental eyes reveal the lies, deceit, betrayal. On this journey, behold the one who travels far. You called him fool, but now you are. The wizard wanders through the world.
I hear it. I hear the connection to metal way better here. If it had a little more distortion. I like they're doing something different with this section. Maybe it's just a tempo thing. If there's a little bit more distortion and a little bit faster, this could be metal. And the vocals, totally different vocals, because the vocals doesn't... I bet this is fun to play.
The Chinese connection refines to heroin. Depart the heart you crave again. It clears all pain, but your soul is claimed again. My love, you feel the need, but it lets you, you must concede. My love, no one to blame, no shame. You crave again, my love. I used to flee from you and from you, my love, my love.
I get the feeling, and I got the feeling on the last album too. I get a strong sense, a strong feeling, a strong inclination, suspicion. We'll go with suspicion. That he writes his lyrics first. Because the melodies are almost always underwhelming. It seems like the focus is more on what's being said rather than like the melody and how it comes across in that way. That might be what bugs me about this. That he writes his lyrics and they get some riffs and then he figures out how to sing the lyrics over the music. That's the sense I get. I don't know that that's true. And if you're a fan of Thin Lizzy, and I'm totally... let me know in the comments. Am I way off base and that's not how they wrote their music, or am I spot on or somewhere in between? I don't know. One of the musicians, artists out there that I am not a fan of, partly because my sister was such a big fan, is Billy Joel. I find Billy Joel's music in general, with like one exception, really irritates me. But the reason I bring it up, he doesn't do that. He writes his melodies first, and then writes the lyrics, which is how the Beatles did it. The Beatles famously, was like scrambled eggs instead of yesterday, scrambled eggs. Like they wrote nonsense lyrics to like figure out the melody and everything, and then they would craft the lyrics to fit after the fact. Billy Joel, in an interview that I remember seeing, said he did that backwards once. One time he wrote the lyrics first, and that's "We Didn't Start the Fire." And he said he would never do that ever again because he didn't like the way it turned out. I get the same feeling from a lot of the Thin Lizzy stuff as that the melody is just the afterthought, and the lyrics came first. Not saying that's bad, just saying it bugs me. Musically, I can dig on what they're doing. I bet live would have been amazing. Seeing them live probably would be pretty killer. I get the volume and the adrenaline and the intensity. And that's kind of what the album is missing, is that adrenalized intensity, I think. All right. Southbound. I dig how the guitars and the bass work together, and the drums. I mean,
Time it is over. A ghost town is all that's left here. The gold rush it is over, and depression days draw near. Tonight after sundown, I'm gonna pack my case. I'll leave without a sound, disappear without a trace. Oh, I'm going southbound. Oh, I'm going southbound.
okay. Those harmonies did not help.
Drifting like a drover, chasing my career. From the ships docked in the harbor, new horizons will appear. Tumbling with the tumbleweed down the open road, taking only what I need.
I can picture these lyrics in a notebook, a poetry notebook. I swear.
I'm going southbound. Oh, I'm going southbound, southbound, southbound.
And then we get a tasty guitar solo. It's no Uri Roth or Michael Schrenker. It's tasty. I'm not sure if I said his name right. Don't yell at me if I said his name wrong.
I'm going southbound. Oh, I'm going southbound, southbound. Hey, you're not getting any younger. The Wild West has already been won. Northern nights are growing colder, and the old eastern ways are gone. tear without a frown, disappear without a trace. Oh, I'm going southbound. Oh, I'm going southbound. Southbound. New horizons will appear. I'm going southbound. Oh, I'm going southbound, dear.
The guitars are so way back in the mix. That mix, I don't understand it. The vocals are so far in the front, and everything there is so far behind it. In that second track, I felt the mix was way better, way more balanced. But when you put the vocals just so far in the front, one of the things I'm gonna need to look into when I'm looking into this is who produced it and how much of a hand the singer had in the production. Because that seems to me like the sort of thing where, like, the one person in the band's like, no, I'm putting my stuff way in the front. Screw you guys. I wouldn't be surprised if that's the situation here. I'm sorry that I'm really struggling with this. 77's been rough for me. Thinking at how I'm ranking stuff. Everything's kind of landing in the middle. Like, we haven't really had. I'm gonna bring up my list. So for 77, yeah, I've had no S tier so far in 77. We're still just the 70. They've got those two albums in 76 and 77. I mean, there's been some good stuff, but nothing that's been like mind blowing to me. Now, granted, there's some albums that I skipped because they didn't get enough requests, or there's not enough critical acclaim. Granted, now the lack of critical acclaim, like, probably also means probably not S tier, although I don't know that for sure. So maybe when I go back and do shorts, maybe there'll be some stuff in there. But we'll see. Okay. I've got at least two more albums in 77 that I'm definitely doing before we get to 78. And by the time we get to 78, we're going to have Stained Class by Judas Priest. And I will be amazed if that's not S tier, based on the amount of requests and the level of critical acclaim for that album. Same with Rainbow. So the fact that those two bands didn't put anything out in 77, oof, it's making it a rough year. All right, I'm going to close this back down. I don't want it taking up space on my computer. Okay, so next is Dancing in the Moonlight. Does this have the most plays on the album? It does. Dancing in the Moonlight, it's Caught Me in the Spotlight. You know, when you rhyme in the title. I don't know how I feel about that. Right, let's do it.
When I passed you in the doorway, well, you took me with a glance. I should have took that last bus home, but I asked you for a dance. Now we go steady to the pictures. I always get chocolate stains on my pants.
Bet you
And
do.
my father, he's going crazy. He says I'm living in a trance, but I'm dancing in the moonlight. It's caught me in its spotlight. It's alright. Dancing Dancing in the moonlight on this long hot summer night. It's 3 o'clock in the morning and I'm on the streets again. I disobeyed another warning. I should have been in by 10. Now I won't get out till Sunday. I'll have to say I stayed with friends. Oh, but it's a habit worth forming if it means to justify the end. Dancing in the moonlight, it's caught me in its spotlight. It's alright. Dancing in the moonlight on this long hot summer night.
If it was 20 or 30 years ago, I'd be taking this opportunity to be loading a bowl or something and barely paying attention.
And I'm walking home. The last bus is long gone, but I'm dancing in the moonlight.
Tasty guitar.
Dancing in the moonlight, it's caught me in its spotlight. It's alright. Dancing in the moonlight on this long hot summer night. Dancing in the moonlight, it's caught me in its spotlight. Dancing in the moonlight on this long hot summer night.
You know, if somebody told me that this was a cover, like a Bob Seger cover, I wouldn't be like shocked. I'd be like, oh, sure, okay.
On this long hot summer night. Dancing in the moonlight.
Hope that's not sacrilege to say. I'm not a fan of Bob Seger. All right, well, I didn't like that at all. Besides that little bit of tasty guitar, oh boy. Now I think I do have, and I already closed the list, so I don't want to pull it. I'm not going to pull it up again. I think I've got a live Thin Lizzy album on my queue that's gotten enough requests. I'm looking forward to that. Maybe I'll like that a lot more. Maybe this is one of those groups that just, they were a live group and they tried to capture it in the studio and just never quite were able to capture it in the studio. There's bands like that. Frankly, I mean, as legendary as they are, both, I didn't understand Led Zeppelin or The Who until I heard live performances from those groups. And then they made sense to me. Hearing just the studio albums at first, I was like, I don't see why everybody loves this. But then hearing it live gave me an entryway to then appreciate what they were able to pull off in the studio. So maybe that'll be a thing with this group. Killer Without a Cause. Guitars in front. I like that. Whoops.
He made a big impression when he walked across the room. And I must make my confession.
I like his intensity here.
I might have spoke too
This is
soon.
better.
He's a killer without a cause. The time is right to settle scores.
Just getting a little bit more gravel in there. A little bit of distortion, vocal distortion. Better driving beat.
On the streets he lived to give, down the alley and round
Hey, we lost it.
On the beat, beneath the light, an angel comes to claim the night. From the streets, this rebel shall rise, and a soul shall soar through the sky.
I'm going to say something potentially awful.
The same old confrontation at the bar in the saloon. But it's just another tricky situation. The underworld operation lies in ruins. He's a killer without a cause. The time is right to settle scores.
So the lyrics. In general, from what I'm picking up in the lyrics, it sounds like poetry to me. More than that, I like this guitar. Do I get a motion for that? No, only two.
On the streets, he lives
There we go.
again.
Um,
Down the alley and round the bend. On
But
the
lyrically,
beat, beneath the light, an angel comes to
I'll save my thoughts for after the song.
from the streets, this rebel shall rise, and his soul shall soar to the sky.
Okay, and then a fade out. Overall, I like that one better. That said, the lyrics. In general, it's very rare for me to come across poetry that I absolutely love. Most poetry that I've been exposed to, I don't like. Most. There are exceptions to that. There's a few notable, very few exceptions of people whose some of their poetry I really, really love. Some people who I think are really great lyricists. Ronnie James Dio comes to mind. When I heard that last Rainbow album, I was particularly blown away by how well crafted his lyrics were. How he was able to rhyme but not make it sound like he was trying to rhyme. It felt natural. Most poetry, when it rhymes, it feels like they're struggling to rhyme. An example of that, the first Rage Against the Machine album. I would say less than half of the lyrics, a third of the lyrics, or maybe so, 40%, are really smart and brilliant. And then everything else is there just to rhyme with those smart ones. That's the impression I got when I was going through, when the album first came out, and I was reading through the lyrics. It was like, some of it's like very profound, but then a lot of it is just there to flesh it out. If a cute young lady told me that she writes poetry, and would I like to read her poetry? These are the kind of, what I'm hearing on this album is sort of what I would expect to see in that cute young lady's poetry book. And I would probably think, this is pretty good, considering. Doesn't have to be a lady. I just feel like women tend to write more poetry than men, in my experience. So I've been more exposed to, when I've been exposed to amateur poets, it's almost always young ladies. And I'd be like, yeah, it's pretty good. Um, but on an album, if she was like, I'm going to join a band, and I'd be like, oh, okay, cool. Um, so that's the impression I'm getting. And maybe that's what's bugging me about it so much. I got 3 more tracks to go. I'm so sorry. I'm going to get so many thumbs downs from the Thin Lizzy fans. Downtown Sundown. Again, rhyming in the title.
If you want your freedom, there is nothing.
He doesn't have a lot of variety in his melodic choice, does he?
If you really need him, I will understand. Please believe in love. I believe there is a God above for love, and He's coming. Yes, He's coming. If you want to fly.
Further, I feel like he might have considered himself a brilliant lyricist.
All the cloudy skies belong to yesterday. Please believe in love. I believe there is a God above for love, and He's coming. Yes, He's coming.
Oh no!
In the shadow,
Curtain.
the swallow dies. No one knows the hobo has. There is no need to apologize. This is the story of the downtown sundown. Ooh.
Did the guitar players ever feel like they were asked to fill in their stuff in a formulaic way? Like, did guitar players butt heads with the singer, bass player?
If you climb the
I
mountain,
feel like that's probably a thing.
then you will see there is no great distance between the Lord and me. Please believe in love. I believe there is a God above for love, and He's coming. Yes, He's coming. And in the shadow, the swallow dies. No one knows the hobo has. There is no need to apologize. This is the story of the downtown sundown.
Let's see, there's a lot of time left. Okay. We got 2 left. Yeah, during my week with this album, I'm gonna be looking into who wrote what, et cetera, et cetera. Okay. That woman's gonna break your heart.
Lonesome gambler,
Gonna say,
that woman will lead
better happen.
to heartbreaks. Take the word of one who played and lost in love. I played it cool. I dealt the heartaches. I broke the rules, but that woman, she cut me up. That woman's gonna break your heart. That woman's gonna tear your soul apart. That woman's gonna wreck your head. That woman's gonna leave you sad, so sad.
Again, the mix.
Oh, so sad. If your life
It's as if he's so proud of his lyrics that he wants to make sure everybody can understand every single word. So mix everything else down so that you can hear the lyrics super well.
you don't know now, but it's the wrong card you're choosing. That deck you're using is stacked against romance. That woman's gonna break your heart. That woman's gonna tear your soul.
Maybe he just wanted the audience to sing along with him.
That woman's gonna leave you sad, so sad.
Tasty guitar. With a nice delay.
That woman's gonna break your heart. That woman's gonna tear your soul apart. That woman's gonna wreck your head. That woman's gonna leave you sad, so sad.
All right.
Oh, so sad. Oh, so sad.
Yeah, so sad.
Lonesome gambler.
Nope. Yeah, I'm really curious about the songwriting process, the production choices. Those are two things that I'm most curious and suspicious about. I didn't care for that one at all, except for that little bit of tasty guitar. But I feel like I'm repeating myself. I feel like there's definitely a pattern here. The guitars seem to be the thing I like the most about it, but I hardly ever get any good lengthy amount of guitar on any given song. So that's frustrating to me. We have our last track, Dear Lord. Oh boy. Oh boy. All right. Okay, we got guitar in the front. Interesting keyboard pad. There's some dissonance in there that I find interesting.
Dear Lord, this is a prayer. Just let me know if you're really there. Dear Lord, come gain control. Oh Lord, come save my soul. Give me dignity, restore my sanity. Oh Lord, come rescue me. Dear Lord, my vanity. Oh Lord, it's killing me, killing me. If you give your soul to heaven and your soul begins to bleed, remember all the servants won't turn up when you need. If you do believe in glory, then please believe in fact. If you give your soul to heaven, you won't get it back. I'm down deep and I need your help. There's no one to turn to and I can't help myself. Dear Lord, hear this call. Oh,
This is painful.
Lord, save my fall. I'm scared. I doubt. Dear Lord, help me out. I despair. My Lord, oh, set good, yeah.
Find that chord progression interesting, at least.
Dear Lord, take the time. I believed your story, now you believe mine. Oh Lord, I'm on my knees. Oh Lord, please, please beware. My Lord, oh care, my Lord. Give me dignity, restore my sanity. My vanity is killing me. If you give your soul to heaven and your soul begins to bleed, remember all the servants don't turn up when you need. If you believe in glory, then please believe in fact. Give your soul to heaven.
All right, I can't wait. All right. I'm looking up some information on this right now before I even move on. That's true. There are only 3 people on the front cover. Most of the tracks only feature 3/4 of the band, because the other guitar player had a hand injury, apparently. There were some disagreements about whether they needed a second guitar. All Music gives it 4.5 stars. I can take this off. All Music gives it 4.5 stars. Collector's Guide to Heavy Metal gives it 10 out of 10. I find that really surprising. Produced by Thin Lizzy and Tony Visconti. Now, when it says produced by Thin Lizzy, does that mean it's produced specifically by the bass player singer? Because I really feel like that's the case. that he had a stronger hand in all the production choices versus the rest of the band, based on how front and center those vocals are. Tony Visconti, what's his deal? Did stuff with T-Rex. David Bowie up through the final Black Star album. I really dug on what I heard from Black Star. Dancing Moonlight was the single. So Lynott, who's the bass player, vocalist, he is a writer or co-writer on every single song. Bad Reputation is one that stood out to me. That is one with Brian and Scott. They're the guitar players. So the guitar players helped write that one, and I liked it more. Downey and Gorham. Who's the one that was injured? Neither. Robertson was the one who was injured. Gorham was the one who was around. So who's the other guy? Who's Brian Downey? Oh, here's the drummer. Okay. So the three on the cover, the three faces on the cover, they're the ones who wrote Bad Reputation. So it's more of a band effort. Same with Opium Trail, which I didn't like as much. But the songs that really, I think, really tended to bug me, no, not necessarily. Lynott's not the sole writer on the ones that really bug, but he's the sole writer on four of the nine tracks, basically half the album. He wrote the song entirely himself. Okay, that's all I need to know about it for now. All right, I'm gonna listen to this for a whole week. Oh boy. And then I'll have more informed opinion on whether any of these songs grew on me over the course of the week, or whether I just wallowed in self-pity. All right. Whew, boy. Okay, this was a tough one. So if you're a big fan of Thin Lizzy, I apologize in advance. The thing about this album, and really this band so far, and it came through during my initial listen, is this. I like the guitars a lot of the time. The drums and the bass are fine. They don't bother me. They don't really stand out to me. They're fine. I strongly dislike the vocals, both the melodies and the lyrics. So for any given song, really the question is this. Do the guitars distract me enough from the vocals that I end up liking it or not? And let's start with the good. I did really like both Bad Reputation and Killer Without a Cause. In both of those songs, the guitars won out, and I ended up really liking both of those tracks. On the other hand, I hated Downtown Sundown and Dear Lord. I strongly disliked Dancing in the Moonlight. And, that woman's going to break your heart. I didn't care for that. Soldier of Fortune, a little better. Southbound, I didn't care for. So this is where all of the songs end up. And so all that taken together, I really didn't care for this album. It's down there next to Stars for me. C is not really my thing. It's well done. It's just the things that annoy me about this album, the vocals and the mix, really annoy me about this album. If it's something that you love, I'm not saying you're wrong. It's just not my thing. So meh. I do appreciate how the guitars create a bridge, and it's not they're not the firsts. It creates a bridge between the Beatles and Your Bird Can Sing and Iron Maiden. The harmonized guitars. I was reminded that no, the Beatles did that on the guitar intro. On Revolver, 1966. So yeah, it's not new, but this brought it into hard rock, which then leads to Iron Maiden dual guitars. So important to the history of metal. But yeah, I'm not going to be going back and listening. Even with the two songs I really like, I'm not going to be going back and listening to this album on a regular basis. Now, that said, I do have a live Thin Lizzy album coming up, and I'm curious whether I'm going to like that a heck of a lot more. It's very possible. Other live albums that I am currently in the process of listening to and creating videos for, I like the live albums more than the studio albums. That can be a thing. So hopefully that's the case. Next week, Sex Pistols. In the meantime, you know what? Keep the recommendations coming. We've got, after Sex Pistols, got Scorpions Taken by Force, then Judas Priest Stained Class, Van Halen, Rainbow Long Live Rock and Roll, AC/DC Powerage, then the Thin Lizzy Live and Dangerous, then UFO Obsession, then the Live Scorpions, Tokyo Tapes, then Black Sabbath, and more Rush. So the albums keep coming. You keep them coming. Letting me know what I should be including within this history. As far as Thin Lizzy goes, any other Thin Lizzy album besides that live one, if you think it's particularly important to heavy metal, fine. Feel free to recommend it. But just because you think I'm going to like a Thin Lizzy album more, if it's not more important to the history of metal, we're good. I think we're good with Thin Lizzy. So only if, not because you think a Thin Lizzy album is better, but only if you think it's more important to metal, the history of metal, more influential. I'm going to try to narrow us in and focus us in back on track here, so that we don't go too astray. I want to get to these other metal albums. I want to get to 1980, and I want to get to Iron Maiden. So I don't mind hitting all of these albums, but I do want to focus us in just a little bit. In the meantime, you have a great rest of your morning, evening, night, day, whatever, and I will see you next time. Ta-ta.